Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Omni-Channel Marketer. This is your host, Kate Stevens. I'm very excited today to welcome Christina Kao, the founder of Mini Macaron. Hi, Christina. How are you?
Hi, Kate. Thank you so much for having me.
It's so great to have you. Would love to just start with your personal story.
Yeah, sure. So my background is actually marketing and advertising. I went to school in New York and I studied marketing and I worked in advertising agencies for the first part of my career. And then I actually moved to Shanghai and continued in the agency world, working in experience marketing and events. So I really had that background of working with creative people, with clients and brands and bringing to light their communications. And then stint working for a celebrity chef. So that was very interesting detour because I'm curious about the restaurant, food and beverage world, the celebrity chef in Shanghai for a time and his restaurant group. Really great learnings, getting a bit the entrepreneurial and startup experience because that's how they were set up. And then met my ex-boyfriend, who is my business partner from then. And we met and literally dated for 6 months and started a business together. We didn't intend to start a business or a brand. We started to work together in terms of projects, and 12 years later we are. So we're not a couple anymore, but we run the business together and have grown the brand a bit and are very proud of kind of where we are today.
Amazing. Well, tell me a little bit more about the brand and the story there.
Sure. So the brand is Mini Macaron. We are a beauty brand specialized in nail products and very specifically gel manicure products. For quite a long time, our hero product has been the gel manicure kit, and it comes with a little mini lamp. So I have one here, which is a LED light to dry your nails. So if you're familiar with doing gel manicures, like a where it's instant or top coat, like
Christina, sorry, actually, your sound's cutting out. I wonder,
okay.
yeah, maybe it's the headphones. Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, it's okay. Great. So why don't we just start back with, I'll just ask you, tell me about the brand. Okay.
So the brand is Mini Macaron, and we are a beauty brand specialized in nail products and very specifically gel manicure products. Our hero product for many years has been the mini gel manicure kit. So if you're familiar with doing salon gel manicures, usually you go in, they have a little LED lamp. This is our LED lamp, which is in the shape of a macaron, hence our brand name. Super cute. So you put your finger in, you can dry your gel polish, and then the polish that comes with our set is a 3-in-1. So the formula has base coat, color, top coat all together, and really designed for people who are new to doing gel at home. Maybe they're familiar with doing it in the salon, but they want to get into DIY, and we wanted to make something so easy to be able to get into, this kind of application at home. So our mini kits are the bread and butter. Like we're actually turning 10 in January, our brand anniversary. Yeah.
Congratulations. That's exciting.
Thank you. So the hero product is the mini kit, and then we have a range of colors, probably over 100 shades at this point, as well as removal and the nail art accessories. And it really runs the gamut. We have hand masks for moisturizing, serums for your nails, all sorts of nail care. Really the full nail routine for whatever you need at home.
So I love gel manicures. And I'm curious about your target customer. Is it the person who's, explored it in the salon, but then wants to do it themselves, or where have you found the best customer exists?
Yeah, we actually have been doing some interviews in the last 3 to 4 months. We call our loyal customer the Chérie. The Chérie is darling in French, and we're a French-American brand. And so we've been interviewing the Chéries to understand how they come into the brand. And we've seen two profiles. One are people who've done gel before. They've already experimented with like a 3-step gel, where your base, color, top are separate. You have a lot of tools. And then they come into our brand because they feel like it's much more convenient because you don't need all those extra bottles and steps. It's a 1-step. So we have this profile, and they really love the convenience and the time it saves them. And then the second would be someone who's never done it before. They are brand new. Maybe they use air dry regular polish, but they haven't dabbled in gel. And for those people, it's a step into a different routine. And we spend a lot of time educating to make sure that they have a really good first-time experience. But it could be those two profiles. Now, we also have some people who are regular salon goers, but then they want to have the little mini kit if they're traveling. So if they want touch-ups when they can't get into the salon, it's really convenient.
That makes complete sense. So talk to me a little bit about, you just mentioned that you're about to hit your 10-year anniversary. That's so exciting. Talk to me about where the brand is today from, a revenue distribution perspective.
Sure. So today we're in the US and we're international, but probably 60% of our business is in the US. We're distributed in retailers like Ulta and Target, Nordstrom, Anthropologie, among some others. Target, we have about 630 stores. Ulta, we launched in 265 stores in the nail section with our core products. But we've also been in their checkout section. So you have the minis bin by the checkout area, and that's full chain, which is 1,400 doors. So it's been great to partner with them. And then Nordstrom Anthropologie, full chain as well. And our revenue levels, well, so we're a double-digit brand as a revenue level. And then we also have our international business. So there's Europe. And in US and Europe, we have e-commerce sites. So there's minimacaron.com and also .eu. We have fulfillment centers in both places. And then international, we have distributors as well who handle their own territories. But across Europe, there's retailers like ASOS and Zalando, which are online. And then Sephora in France, some of the department stores in Spain and Italy, like El Corte Inglés, maybe you've heard of. So there's a mix of retailers across Europe. Douglas, the pharmacy. So, yeah.
Okay. And where, so that's where the brand is today. 10 years ago, where did you launch the brand? And, how did you think about that being the channel that you launched the brand in?
So January 2015 was our launch, and we actually did a Kickstarter to begin with. Back then it was really popular to kick off a brand that way. And in the first 18 months, we did 3 Kickstarters. So it was just an initial way to get going. We could kick off production, launch an initial assortment of colors. And Kickstarter was great because they obviously had their audience. So your project could get awareness through their platform. And that was like a first set of kind of e-commerce customers, right? Because then we launched our website right after, so you can drive them there. But in the early days, the e-commerce industry back in 2015 and 2016, it wasn't as robust. So,
Right.
I was thinking the other day, what did Facebook ads look like back then? How did Instagram look in I kind of know because I took screenshots back in the day, but it was just really different, how people were using those social platforms. And, e-com was a little bit of a slow start for us because we also didn't have a lot of SKUs. We didn't have so many colors. We needed to develop more of an assortment. And so while we did the Kickstarters and did launch an e-com site, we then, because we were living internationally, I was in Shanghai at the time, our method was to go to international exhibitions. Kind of an old school way of looking for wholesalers, right? We would go to Cosmoprof, which is a big beauty trade exhibition. They have it in Bologna and Vegas and Hong Kong. And so we would do that. We did ECRM. I don't know if you've heard of that. Buyer meetings, So it's kind of like speed dating, 20-minute buyer meetings, but you have 80 meetings in 3 days. It's very intense, and you're meeting a lot of amazing buyers. So we did ECRM a couple times in Europe, and that's actually where we met Ulta back in probably 2017.
Wow.
And yeah, it was amazing. And then they gave us the opportunity to launch on Ulta.com at the end of 2017. And those were the channels to look for sales opportunities. I think we were thinking more traditional wholesale. We did do some retail back then, but we were living in China. So the retail was like Sephora in China, which is a completely different game, right? And then I think we set up shop in Europe. And so we started to expand retail in Europe. And pre-Brexit, we did a lot with the UK. So there's a number of retailers there that we worked with. But then post-Brexit, we wound it down a little bit just because it was a bit challenging because UK wasn't in Europe anymore. And then the focus really turned to the US in 2020 because the pandemic happened. For our business and our category of nail and nail at home, it was very, very fortunate for us because people were at home. They were looking for solutions for their manicures. And they were also bored, and they were kind of looking for stuff to do. So the learning how to do a gel manicure, I call it beauty entertainment because they were able to do their manicures, but they were also playing and learning how to do something, watching tutorials. And since COVID, people got really good at doing their own nails, makeup. So it was interesting. The consumer just devoured tutorials and became like a prosumer almost.
Mhm.
So the business kept growing from there. Like we kind of thought after 2020, maybe it'll go down a bit, but it kept growing, and we got the opportunity to launch in Target at the end of 2021. So that was great because with the boom on the online side, the retail expansion was very good for the brand then, and we were able to kind of invest into more marketing folks and marketing spend activities and inventory as well in those years.
That's like really exciting. And I wonder, I experienced that myself in the pandemic, really exploring in the beauty tutorial space. Have you continued to lean into that as a brand now? And, how does video and content and influencer, continue to, drive the brand forward?
Definitely. I think with Zoom coming around as something that everyone is used to jumping on Zoom calls and doing master classes with people so that new consumers can learn how to use our products and do a good manicure at home, to doing lives like TikTok lives and Instagram lives that people can, jump on with you and see what's going on, from educating them to just communicating, hey, here's our holiday launch, and these are all the new things that we have coming, or here are the Black Friday items that are on promo. So really just having this like immediate touch point with the consumer has been amazing. And I think our brand, because education is so critical, if you're not used to doing gel, I know the first time I did gel, I made so many mistakes, and that we really want to ensure that people have a great first experience. So I think we're deepening our education and engagement, next year as well, to create more opportunities for people to learn with us.
So this is a challenge that we run into with a lot of brands that we chat about on this podcast. So high education product. I'm curious, do you think about that in just the pre-purchase, i.e. the acquisition of the customer, educating the customer why they'd want it? Or is it more in making sure that they're using it correctly and effectively?
I think both.
Okay.
We want to make sure at the point of purchase, they understand how to use the products. One of the initiatives last year was like the one thing I think people don't know how to do when it comes to gel polish is that it's very, very thick. And when you apply it for the first time, you need to remove everything from your brush. You just like brush it over and over along the neck of the bottle, get it really clean, and then you start to apply, and you have to apply a very transparent layer. So I love demoing that in person when we do events, because then I'm showing them how to do it, and then I have them cure it, and I have them touch it so they see it's instantly dry. All of that, of course, you can give them a QR code and watch a video tutorial once they're sitting at home, and you hope that they do that. But we have found that, customers kind of want to just jump in. They don't really want to follow instructions.
Yeah.
They just want to kind of get their hands dirty, literally, like get going. So we actually added a sticker to the main product last year. So when they open the product, they're breaking through a sticker, and it says the number one thing you need to know is this: staining thin layers to have long lasting and not having chipped nails. And here's a QR code. So catching them before they even open the product to make sure, they can't miss it. And then all the other QR codes and infographics, instructions that are inside. And, if they purchase on our website, having an email that goes out right after with education while the product is on the way. So many areas to develop, to kind of get to them.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So it's like really making it part of the customer's post-purchase journey. It's like if you do nothing else, you have to do these things on the education side. That makes a lot of sense. So how do you think about, it sounds like these are some of the methodologies, but you have your D2C channel, you have wholesale, so all these retail channels, which, your ability to educate is a little bit more difficult. How do you think about that consistent brand experience across the channels?
Yeah, so with Ulta, we had the opportunity to do virtual trainings. And, obviously it's not the easiest thing to roll out in a retailer that has just hundreds of stores, but you try to go, I would say, step by step, right? You try to do what you can. So I visited Chicago about a month ago and went into 5 or 6 stores. And with those touch points, we're now doing store trainings of the ones that we've met. And I think that just sinks in more, and getting testers into the hands of the store associates so that they become champions of the brand. They know how to use it. And, their beauty store associates, like they just love all kinds of products. And a lot of them, they have people on their teams who are nail techs and, influencers. So they're more inclined to learning and getting good at it. So when we have the products in their back room, their break room, they can play with it. So I think rolling this out in a way that's manageable for us to get to more people is one initiative. And yeah, I think just, we are definitely, we're talking omni-channel here. So we definitely have, all our various social media channels where we talk about the gamut of topics, and education is
Hmm.
one of the pillars. And then, paid media as well, paid social. And it's a mix of great brand content launches, but also education, and kind of getting those points across. And so we have a lot of channels, and we've really leaned into video in the last couple of years. Like I would say since 2020, like video for us has, like most brands have, we've really leaned into it. And there's a number of people on the team who do content creation. We have a great network of nail influencers who create very good content because they know how to use the products. And they've been amazing partners for us, as well as finding like UGC nail influencers,
Yep.
newcomers.
Yep. That makes complete sense. Um, and you also have a product where it's like you have your keynote product of the device itself, but then there's the consumable component of different different colors of the polish. So how do you think about customer acquisition and then growing the customer, growing that LTV of your customer across the channels? Is that part of your strategy?
Definitely. I think when they come in with the system at first, some of the initiatives on our ecom site have been, you kind of want them to, in the first purchase, ideally increase the AOV, and they're buying their removal kit so that they're going home with a bit more. Like our kits include a one-time removal. You have 10 wraps for your 10 fingers, but we sell the 100 piece removal, which is your future, right? So you want them thinking about that. There's other tools that help make removal a better experience. So we've got bundles on our sites, and when they're checking out, they're seeing these things that they can add on to really go home with the full routine and the full kit. All the shades. I think we've launched, like buy three, get a free pouch, buy three, get a fourth free. There's these types of promotions that encourage them to get more colors. So we have found that if consumers come in and they're quickly like, wow, I want to try that shade, or cherry cola nails are trending for Q4. Like, I got to get that because I'm seeing it all over, my Instagram. Us being there for that, and that
Yep.
you can paint it with our particular shade that's like that. Or the glazed nail trend was so big. I mean, it continues to be big with Hailey Bieber, and we created a kit that reflected the glazed nail effect,
Mm.
and that actually went into Ulta as an exclusive. And just building all this content around that so that consumers feel they can get this look at home, and just being a part of the conversation that everyone's talking about.
Yep. How much is that, you as the founder, that's part of that conversation on the content side? Or, is that really more your brand and your brand team, your content team?
I do some of it, but I don't do all of it because I know some brands, the founders doing just continuous content daily. We're not set up that way. I'll go on and I peer through the content, like every month. But the team, there's dedicated people who are making, nail tutorials featuring the latest colors. And that's a pretty good formula that we have going on where they show how to use it. They really display the results and you get that color impact. We've got the education piece. So if it's about, hey, I'm struggling with removal, there's a team that makes that. So we have two different types of video content. There's more the studio looking stuff. It's very pretty. And then there's like the real UGC. So it's like, this is really how it, and they shoot this at the office, which is pretty easy to do. And lots of bite size. So actually one of the things we found out in our interviews with our customers is that where are they watching tutorials? They're watching very bite-sized tutorials. So really small TikToks, short TikToks, versus like a longer YouTube tutorial, which that was kind of surprising to me. They just want it really bite-sized. So it, informed us moving ahead, we need to just do more of these and
Yep.
build a library.
The search functionality on TikTok for content is really excellent. Like I feel like I go there to learn actively now.
It's,
It's really, really interesting.
it's incredible.
Are you doing anything to bridge the gaps across your different channels for your customers? And then second but related question, how do you think about the different channels that you are sold in and what those, the different purposes of those channels are?
Yeah. So when we do marketing campaigns, let's say, it could be, for example, Mother's Day, as an idea. We'll think about What do we want to communicate in this lead up to Mother's Day? And maybe the messaging could be gifting, and gifting at different price points. Then we'll take that idea and adapt it to all the different channels. So you could have your email marketing newsletter that breaks it apart, gifts at different price points, moms that are different types of moms. The paid media will talk about it in that way, but we might make it into a carousel or a video or an Instagram story that they can click into. And then organic video content and the feed for TikTok and Instagram will feature. So campaigns are kind of presented this way. And then we try, we also do SMS. So you'll have the SMS go out that, kind of encourages them to shop early, and here's some gift ideas. So we do try to go across the board. And then, we have found that when we talk about key products, like anchor products, our gel manicure kit is the hero. And then if we have the Pearlescence kit, which I mentioned, was an Ulta exclusive, and it's still in Ulta stores, but last year was in full chain at Ulta in the checkout section. And so while the brand was doing a lot of paid media talking about Pearlescence as a new shade and what is the effect and the Hailey Bieber nail look that you want to get, and the brand was doing all this other marketing about this, and we had the photography and lots of content around it, lots of nail looks you could achieve. Ulta had it in all the stores. So then we find that when we can create marketing for products that our retailers have and halo it, of course, a paid ad would probably drive to our D2C site for conversion. But the more of this marketing that's out there that consumers are seeing, then they walk into a store and they're seeing it there. Or we do an Ulta email where they're seeing all these gifts, at Ulta, or all these sets they can get, and the Pearlescence appears there. Or we do Ulta Mag. They have their monthly magazine, and so it appears on the pages, it's printed. What's the thing that they say about consumers? They need to see something 7 to 9
7
times.
times. Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, and we believe this. It's that first time is just probably lost in the noise, and they kind of just need to see it over and over. When we can, because nail is very trend driven, right? Color cosmetics very trend driven. So ideally, we have done good product development. There's a product launching at a moment that it's a peak trend. And then we can talk about it and it just halos everywhere. So ultimately, it's great, the omni-channel approach, because I've always said, it doesn't matter to me where the consumer buys us, if they want to buy on our site or in a retailer. I just want them to be able to find us, and they are free to shop wherever they want. If they want to come to our site and, get loyalty points from us and enjoy special, exclusives, like a free pouch if you buy something, or if you want to shop at Ulta because you want the ultimate reward points and they have a really robust program, that might be where you want to get your points. And you might just want to drive up into a shop or, buy online and go pick up. But we just want to be available and findable.
Yep. Makes complete sense. Shifting gears, topical focus. What is something that you feel boldly or passionately about?
So when we started, I would always say I could be having a bad hair day, but if my nails are done, I feel very polished. I feel like it makes my day better, and I feel kind of lifted up. And over the years, that's just kind of become the message is we want to bring to our audience, our sharees, we want to lift them up, right? So we offer products that when you paint at home and, you can get a great manicure, you feel more elevated, more uplifted. And I think that has also translated to this general notion of helping to lift up our community. Our team is mostly women. It's beauty, it's nails. So we have mostly women on our team, young women who are at the beginning of their careers, many of them, and also just lifting up the team, developing them, helping them find their way, being part of our community. So it's the team, our consumers, it's all one community, really.
Yeah.
So I think the idea of really lifting them up, and we've been trying to work on this messaging as we move forward. And I think one of the anchors for us is that we're a very playful brand. I think a lot of our creative and our work out there is very playful and fun, but we also, I think, inherently are a very joyful brand. The tone of voice and everything is very friendly. We're very accessible. It's just part of our DNA. So I think as we move forward, this idea of helping people feel lifted up, but also tapping into their joy and their creativity and self-expression is very inherent in who we are.
Amazing. I can relate to that because if I have my nails done, I do feel put together. So that really resonates with me. Okay, lightning round. Favorite omni-channel brand?
So I have been really loving Live Tinted. Do you know this brand? They're at
I
Ulta.
don't. No.
So it was founded by Deepika. I think she's like an influencer and then she's a founder. She has this beautiful brand. It's very glowy orange and they do amazing omni marketing. Like they will do all sorts of different, like they'll do like truck ads. I mean, we also do truck ads, and then they're doing a lot of stuff with Ulta. Just in-store events, and I think they do a beautiful job of really connecting with the community. So yeah, they've been really on my mind these last months.
I'll have to check them out. Branding looks beautiful. What's something that you wish you could change about our industry?
You know, it's interesting. There's a lady that I speak to. She's kind of like a mentor, and she's been in beauty for ages, and she runs programs. Like she kind of teaches a beauty class at a university, and a lot of these young people in college, they want to work in beauty, and it's very hard for them to break in. And she's like always trying to connect the students with people for internships and entry level positions. And it's very, very difficult. And so I was thinking it would be great if there were more programs to help people enter the industry. I think it's, you know, it just doesn't really exist that much. Where there are, it's very competitive.
Makes complete sense. Favorite podcast?
You know, I listen a lot to Diary of a CEO. Yeah, I learn a lot from, and I like to watch it on YouTube so I can like visually see them and follow along.
I haven't heard that one, but I'll definitely check it out. Favorite newsletter?
I don't have one. I actually don't really, you know, I used to have tons of newsletters and that became all promo-y, so I don't really get my info that way.
Totally. I get it. Favorite social media channel?
I really like following, traditionally they were magazines like Allure and In Style and Glamour for the beauty content. Like I do follow all of those social sites to get the latest.
And do you follow them on Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram. Yeah.
Favorite book?
So my partner and I have both been reading Ikigai. It's taken us time to kind of get through it, but it's that
What's it called?
Japanese Ikigai. So Ikigai is that Japanese word, and it's about your inner purpose or your purpose in life. And so my partner's Italian, so he reads it in Italian. I have it in English. It's taking us time to get through it, but it's about tapping into your passion. And having that be what you do.
Any events that you're planning on going to next year?
So I'm considering like Beauty Independent runs a new conference. I think it's at the end of January. It might be in LA. So I'm kind of looking at that. It's probably with retailers. I just went to their event in London back in November, which was for more investors and brands. So yeah, I think it should be an interesting one. They always bring together a great community of beauty people.
And where can people connect with you?
So my LinkedIn is Christina Kao. My Instagram is the Christina Kao. And then we have our brand accounts, which is Mini Macaron on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. You can always find us there.
Amazing. Christina, thank you so much. I think that this was like such an interesting conversation. Honestly loved really diving into the tutorials and the education component to your product. So thank you so much for the insights.
Thank you for having me, Kate. I loved your questions. It was such an interesting discussion.
If you liked this podcast, follow me and the Bridge page on LinkedIn and Twitter for hot takes and tactical advice. If you really loved today's episode, we'd love a review on the podcasting platform of your choice, Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Thanks for listening.